Hey, Foot Clan, are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Let me tell you how you can get our Omaha Steaks gift pack for only $49.99. That is 75% off, and here's what you get. 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 2 pork chops, 4 chicken breasts, 4 kielbasa sausages, 4 burgers, 4 potatoes, 4 caramel apple tartlets, 1 seasoning packet, plus 4 more kielbasa sausages free. Just go to omahasteaks.com and enter our code FANTASY in the search bar to get all of this for less than $50.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Playdraft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, why yes indeed, we're back once more.
Pork chop sandwiches!
I was going to say, it's going to be a good show if it starts with a long list of meat. That's how you know. Welcome in, it's Wednesday, December 6th. 2017, Andy, Mike, and Jason, the Fantasy Footballers back again. The judge himself back behind the magic curtain, running things for us. How you doing today, Brooks?
Terrific, Andy. Thank you.
That's good. He is doing terrific. That had an inflection of positivity that I unmatched this month.
The most power and energy I've ever witnessed was just right then from the judge.
Yes, well done. We've got a great show. Pump the brakes on the show today. Some news and notes, a preview of the Thursday night football game, and we'll get into the mailbag and answer some Foot Clan questions, because that's what we do here. We are all about equipping you to win your fantasy football league from January through December.
Get that hashtag Foot Clan title.
We take a little break from the end of December to the beginning of January, and then we go again for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it is Wednesday, which means
O'Reilly
Auto Parts.
Ow!
All right, pump the brakes. Jason, you were a little late there.
I was a little late, but I came in strong.
Pump the brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. We each pick a pump the brakes candidate. Last week, I threw out Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Got him.
Got him good. And who was your pump the brakes last week, Jay?
Last week, my pump the brakes was Tevin Coleman after his big monster 2 weeks in a row. Did not fare well against Minnesota.
We're going to start with Mike's because I didn't see.
Oh.
I didn't see what he wrote down here. So who do you got
Ladies
on
and gentlemen,
your pump the brakes?
it pains me a little bit.
I don't like it.
Do you still want the drop?
Yes, of course we get the drop. Despite the jubilation that music brings to my soul, I got to pump the brakes on Devin S. Scrumptious. That's Devin Funchess for the uninitiated, wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. The roads are closed. Xavier Rhodes. And look, I know that the guys like Marvin Jones had some success against Xavier Rhodes, had himself a monster game on Thanksgiving. I don't believe that Cam Newton is a good enough quarterback to get that done this week against Minnesota. Last week it took garbage time to get Devin Funchess his points. I like Devin Funchess moving forward, and this is a pump the brakes. This is not I am automatically benching Devin Funchess. I'm just saying I'm lowering what I expect the output for Devin Funchess to be. I'm talking a lower-end wide receiver 2 instead of that stud that he has been since Kelvin Benjamin left town.
The nice thing about Devin Funchess is he's humongous. So one play can still save your week with a touchdown, but I like the pump. Minnesota's a tough defense. They don't give up the big play. That's what we know about them. Jason, who are you pumping the brakes on this week?
I am pumping the brakes on Derrick Henry, running back for, I should say, backup running back for the Tennessee Titans. And you might be saying, but Jason,
Are you vopoing yourself?
don't at me, bro. but Jason, didn't Derrick Henry get 11 carries for 109 yards and a touchdown last week? Why, yes, voice of public opinion, he did. And he did it the same way he did it earlier in the season in a ridiculous fashion, which is this. For the second time this year, Derrick Henry has had the opportunity where the game is over. It's basically you're wanting to kneel the ball down, right, and put the game away. All you need is one first down, and you're super far away from the other goal line. And as soon as you get that first down and the game is basically over, you could just slide on your butt and the game is over. The defense folds because they know the game is over, and he goes for a 75-yard touchdown. That's twice this year this has happened with Derrick Henry. So, look.
It's a habit.
I'll say this. If the Tennessee Titans are up on the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona this week and they need to run the clock out and they are far away from their own goal line,
He's your guy?
that's my guy. I think he's going to be a good start. But against Arizona, who's 8th best against the run this year, he has clearly been the backup. I don't think you can confidently start. I mean, if you have to plug him in there, you always have the chance of a big play. But if I can bench Derrick Henry, I would prefer to.
All right, I'm going to pump the brakes on Charles Clay. For those of you out there waiting for the return of the first half Charles Clay, I'm going to put a kibosh on that. Look, he's not Cameron Brate. We saw Cameron Brate come back with Winston, and he got it back together last week. But 4 games now since he's returned from injury, he's not the same player he was at the beginning of the year. We don't know if Tyrod Taylor's going to play. And so I'm going to put the unlike Mike, who said it's a downgrade for Devin Scrumptious, I'm putting the don't start marker on Charles Clay. I think you have more exciting options with Steven Anderson in Houston, with Tyler Kroft in Cincinnati, with Ricky Seals-Jones.
The fact that all you have to do is point at Jason.
I didn't even know where he was going.
And he knows that you're talking about Ricky Seals-Jones.
He knows he needs to bark like a seal.
Jason's new favorite NFL player.
Oh, so good.
What a season.
What a season it is. That was Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Look, from time to time, we like to give a little shout-out to you guys, to the Foot Clan. We got a lot going on these days as the season comes to an end, and we really appreciate everybody's reviews, everybody's support over on iTunes and wherever you're listening, and so we're going to read one right now. Well, Jason is.
Reviewosaurus Rex.
This one comes in from the Dustpan. 5 stars, a real testimonial.
That's the title of it, a real testimonial?
That is correct.
Okay.
This is my first season as commissioner, and I'm in 12th place of 12.
Uh-oh.
The reason this season is so competitive is because as the commish, I asked that the competitors listen to this podcast, especially new members. 2 of the new guys are in a deadlock for first place, and I couldn't be more proud. These guys legitimately have made this season fun for everyone. It's water cooler and break talk. The fantasy footballers help make a league competitive and fun, a must for leagues lacking these things.
Well, thank you, the Dustpan. I mean, that's how unselfish and just humble and noble a person the Dustpan is sharing this podcast with their entire league.
It is more fun to win a league that is competitive than it is to roll over in half inactive, uncompetitively.
Yes, it is. And before we get into the news and notes,
oh, this is huge.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. You know that we only use the horn of Gondor when things are very necessary. Head over to
Clan Assemble.
Thank you. I missed that part. FootClanVote.com. This is what is happening, Foot Clan. The FSTA.
WA.
No.
FSTA.
This is the FSTA, Jason. Get out of here with that nonsense.
I'll leave. I'll shut myself out.
We love both. But the FSTA is putting on a vote for or an award. This is for the best social media. And you know what this really is?
This is really for you only.
This is really a who has the best fans, the most active fan base. And we know it's the Foot Clan. We know this. But we need the rest of the industry to know this as well, as we stand triumphant holding this award with you hand in hand.
We will chip off little pieces of this award and mail it to everyone because it is your award.
Okay, all right.
That is not in writing.
Jason will. Jason will do that.
But we would appreciate it.
Yes,
go to FootClanVote.com and FootClan Assemble.
It's just it's literally 1 second.
Yep.
We'll take you 1 second.
This is only a one vote. Just
Just click a button. Just make sure it's ours.
Yeah. Double check that it's the fantasy footballers you're voting for, and we thank you.
Yes, footclanvote.com. Let's get into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
Wouldn't you know it, Juju Smith-Schuster and Bengals safety Joy Jayoka both suspended for one game, and Juju's suspension was he appealed it and lost the appeal, so Juju Smith-Schuster is out this week, as is Rob Gronkowski, whose appeal was denied appropriately. And so no Rob Gronkowski and no Juju. What are the implications fantasy-wise for those two teams?
For Juju, I would say the team, it's okay. Martavis has actually looked far more in sync with Big Ben these past couple weeks. Antonio Brown, he's going to play through the toe, so I think they're fine. And for fantasy purposes, Juju was kind of a cool whip, right? On top of your delicious cupcake. He wasn't the meat. He wasn't the
Wait. Why would you go from cupcake
That's
to
what I was
wasn't the
wondering.
meat?
He wasn't
What?
the cake.
He wasn't the cake.
Well,
What kind of cupcakes are you eating there?
Well, it's-
Are these Omaha steak
Do you
cupcakes?
put
No.
Cool Whip on your steak?
No, but I might have to now. Just sometimes you call the foundation the meat. It's like
Not right after you reference cupcakes. That's we get
well, it's
that.
like I'm thinking of like a coconut.
What?
Oh no, okay. The coconut they do refer.
Yeah, they
to
call it
that
the meat.
as
That's what I'm
meat.
just saying. The thick part.
Why were you thinking of a coconut?
I'm
we're
going
thinking of three things.
I'm
Look,
just
it's
gonna.
like a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
You guys want to join me in this hole? Eventually, it will go all the way through.
No,
We'll
you're alone
circle
with your
around,
Cool Whip.
and I'll be back. But Juju is not a foundational piece to your fantasy football team. However, Rob Gronkowski is. That sucks if you have Gronk and you did not get a first-round bye.
Yeah, and the truth
A
is,
lot.
Big Ben is at home, so you might be tempted to start him. But without Juju and against Baltimore, which is a division game, great defense.
thank you.
No thanks. I'm staying away.
All right, big news for me. Bruce Ellington and C.J. Fedorowicz are both now on injured reserve for Houston. I'm going to stress this. I think that Steven Anderson is a must-start tight end.
I
Wow.
He is a pass-catching tight end. Bruce Ellington represented the second-best pass-catching option on that team. He's gone. When they play Jacksonville in a week, and it's Jacksonville's secondary against DeAndre Hopkins alone, their only hope for moving the ball is going to be to utilize the tight end position and the running back position. I think he's a must-start tight end. I'm in a place where I'm so convicted about Steven Anderson that I'm sitting here thinking, do I start him over Evan Ingram this week?
Yeah, look,
What?
San
Which I'm not
Francisco-
going to do.
But you're thinking about
I'm
it.
thinking about the fact that I don't want to just ride the high of Evan Ingram's 1 week when Eli is coming back and ignore a great other option. Now,
Yeah.
Ingram's in the category where I would start him above Steven Anderson, but
I get what you're
he's
saying.
right in that top 6, 7 to me.
Yeah, this week he plays San Francisco, who since week 6,
that's
every
delightful.
Well,
every
that's why
single
I thought
week
about
they
it.
have given up double digits to the tight end, with the sole exception of this past week when they face Chicago, who doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, and I also
Boom. Take that, Trubisky.
if you're in those, 14 team, maybe even a 16 teamer, huge league with Bruce Ellington out as well. We talked about this on yesterday's waiver show, but Andre Ellington could be forced to play slot wide receiver for this team yet again. So that I'm only talking very deep PPR. You're grasping for someone to be on the waiver wire. So I would look to him.
Yeah, I totally
agree.
agree. What else is going on?
Amari Cooper and Doug Martin are still in the concussion protocol. Doug Martin being in is more interesting because Peyton Barber looked fantastic in relief. So we're not going to know. You won't know this weekend until very, very late if you can actually play Peyton Barber with full confidence. But at least
You certainly pick him
we're
up and
trending that
prepare
way.
to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think that it's right now it's still trending towards him being able to play. Also, report came out from Jim Caldwell about Matthew Stafford saying that he's not out of the woods yet with his hand. If you missed that, his hand got banged up. If you saw the video during the game when they zoomed in on the hand, that was an ugly looking hand. I'm just going to call it how I see it. His hand modeling career is over.
It's over.
And
he's no George Costanza.
Nope.
And Jim Caldwell said this is not an insignificant injury. And you brought up, I think last episode, Mike, what happened when Matthew Stafford had the dislocated finger last year, said it was fine, said it's not affecting anything. Oh, sure. Yeah, we watched the film.
Yeah.
It was affecting a lot. You went from being great to terrible. So I would have a really hard time trusting Matthew Stafford with this hand injury.
By extension, Golden Tate,
Yeah, I mean,
Marvin Jones. I mean, if it's Jake Rudock at quarterback, we're going to have issues.
Doesn't he? He has a job coming up to lead Santa's sleigh.
The red-nosed quarterback.
And for Amari Cooper, let's say Amari Cooper misses this game against the Chiefs coming up for the Raiders. Would that move Seth Roberts or Johnny Holton up
I
your
actually
rankings?
think Johnny Holton would be the right play because of the matchup.
Okay.
Kansas City is always giving up the deep ball, and that's pretty much Johnny Holton's a one-trick pony, but that's the trick that Kansas City sucks at guarding.
They suck at guarding that trick. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say no to both. I don't think that playoff week one with Crabtree back dominating targets, I don't think I'm going to mess with either of them, especially if we're debating who it is.
I agree if we're talking redraft playoffs, but if we're talking like DFS, I think he's a really good
sure.
play.
No, that makes sense.
Right.
And Holton, he can get in the end
As
zone.
long as he can hold the ball.
I know. He fumbles a lot.
That got you?
That one got me. I really enjoyed that.
As I was saying it, I was like, this is a terrible joke. But,
Nailed it.
yeah. All right.
Brooks, what do you
got
think?
Yeah, can I get a ruling on
You
the...
got me chuckling over
Oh,
there.
all right.
Ah!
We got a gavel-less,
Oh, speaking of...
an egregious gavel-less acceptance.
Speaking of dad jokes, the new trend around, I'm sure you have seen them, where people have the dad joke off, where they go head to head and give just terrible, terrible puns and terrible jokes and try not to laugh, and there's a scoring system.
And it's so fun to watch.
How have we not done that? We're going to correct that very, very soon. Very, very soon.
We are essentially three dad jokes in human
Yes.
form anyway.
Yeah, we live the dad joke life, and we want to know who's the best dad joker. We're going to find out as a special tribute for our upcoming 500th episode.
That's right, which is right around the corner, and I'm going to whip both of you at this game.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, Thursday night football preview. The New Orleans Saints at 9-3 take on the Atlanta Falcons and can do some serious damage in Atlanta to the Falcons' playoff hopes. They're sitting at 7-5, a disappointing loss last week. And the Saints, Drew Brees and company. What do we think the headline fantasy stories are in this game?
The headline story is Mark.
Also, the 93 Saints are who Mike and I picked to win the Super Bowl.
Thank you. The headline story for the Saints, it's Mark Ingram, who was held out of practice on Tuesday with the toe injury. Now that's, if you're trying to compare that to something that's similar to a player missing, Thursday's practice on a normal week. So he could still be fine to play. This might just be a rest, but it's absolutely a situation to monitor because obviously Mark Ingram and the game genie himself, Alvin Kamara.
Oh, there goes Alvin Kamara running down the field. Oh, guys just can't touch him. They're bouncing off.
He's literally invincible.
Just ran through another Goomba.
Alvin Kamara.
I mean, can Alvin Kamara become any more the number one running back? If
Mark
Ingram's out, Alvin Kamara is just like,
it's not fair. It's not fair to
he
your
counts
opponent.
as two.
Yeah, so that's the situation to pay attention to with Mark Ingram. Otherwise, it's do you play Drew Brees in this matchup? I guess is the other big question. The over/under, Vegas has it as at 53.5 points. That's a lot of points.
Well, we had that last year a couple of times when we thought Tampa and the Saints would go crazy.
Sure.
I do think that there will be some points in this matchup with the Saints defense going on the road and the Falcons. Julio, you're going to start. Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman. We expect both of those guys to be productive.
Yeah, I would still play Freeman as an RB1 and Coleman as that flex type of play. Now the Falcons on the season, they rank 14th against giving points up to the quarterback. But the past 6 weeks, they're down at 26th. So does that give you more confidence to play Drew Brees as their points allowed to the running back position has improved over the second half? Wide receivers, though, they tend to shut him down. So Jason, what's your temperature on Drew Brees this week?
I think Drew Brees is a fine play. I don't see him anymore as this kind of top 5 quarterback, but I do see him as a guy who usually has a safe floor. If Mark Ingram is out, they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. I think Drew Brees he's not one of these players that you're going to throw out there and just change the rest of your lineup to be like, okay, I just need safe guys because Brees is going to light it up. But against the Falcons should be able to score on the Saints because I would say the one place where the Saints have not been the strongest is their running game. The Falcons will be able to run on both Coleman and Freeman. So I think Drew Brees will need to throw the ball, will need to score, and if he doesn't have Mark Ingram to bang in a couple touchdowns, that could end up with some crazy Brandon Coleman, Josh Hill touchdown for Drew Brees.
And Julio Jones, you're fine.
Of course. You never sit Julio. It doesn't matter if it's a hard matchup, a good matchup. Look, you're going to get your duds like last week, and you're going to win the week like 2 weeks ago. You can't ever bench Julio.
Adrian Peterson did not practice today, by the way, and they're waiting to see if the doctors will clear him for the game against the Titans this weekend. That could be relatively important for your fantasy playoff matchup. I mean, Tennessee on the road in Arizona, it should be a great game for Peterson if he can get on the field. I feel kind of fortunate to have the bye in one of my leagues because of Gronkowski's suspension and Peterson's injury. Need those guys to get back.
So before we move on to the mailbag, I want to thank today's sponsor, Pristine Auction, the absolute best sports memorabilia site.
What was that?
Memorabilia site.
That's right.
Of all time. This is what you can do on Pristine Auction.
Oh, I just got an Alshon Jeffrey jersey, by the way.
You got one?
Yeah, we got an Alshon Jeffrey jersey for the studio.
All right. And we got here's a trick. This is a pro trick for Pristine Auction. We always talk about buy low, sell high for fantasy football. And really, I mean, anything in life, that's a pretty common phrase.
It's good.
But you can do the same thing on Pristine Auction. You take advantage of when a player is low and the public goes, I'm kind of off him.
Week 3, Kareem Hunt jerseys were
they were
hot.
Big buco bucks. I snagged one yesterday for 60 bones. I grabbed a Juju.
That one was cheap.
I sound like Gruden. Juju Smith-Schuster.
I believe you mean
Schuster Smith.
Schuster Smith.
I grabbed a Juju jersey because I know that my man Jason loves Juju.
A Star is Born.
Guess what? $60 for Juju as well. A David Johnson signed jersey went for $78. I'm upset I missed on that one. But if you want to get in on this action where you can get these are fantastic for Christmas presents as well.
PristineAuction.com.
Make a free account. Let them know the Fantasy Footballers sent you.
Also, look, it's holiday season, and we want to give a shout-out and a thanks to the great people at Pro Flowers. Look, you've got a lot of people that you know that maybe you don't see this holiday season, and sending that greeting card, that just doesn't necessarily feel like enough, to express the holiday wishes and your feelings. You can do it. You can do it better. We can do better. And look, they have a ton of festive offerings over there at proflowers.com. They have their best-selling candy cane roses that are a great option for a holiday gift, December birthday or anniversary. You can always go with their classic mini Christmas tree that comes with lights and ornaments. Look, a bouquet or festive plant from Pro Flowers is perfect because it's not the same old traditional gift. It says a lot more. No matter what you choose, our listeners get 20% off any Pro Flowers bouquet or plant of $29 or more. And look, you do that, you get your 20% off all bouquets of $29 or more by going to proflowers.com and using our code BALLERS at checkout. That's proflowers.com, and the code is BALLERS. All right. You ready, Mike?
Oh, bumblebee, bumble. Yeah, hit it.
Mailbag.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. You went to the Andy Holloway zone there for a minute. Your voice just disappeared.
Yeah.
It's a dark place.
It is. I can tell you that.
I'm very familiar with that dark place. The last footcast.
Oh yeah.
You mean where I called you a demon?
Yeah, but you had both of you did the mailbag drop on the last footcast while Mike was gone.
Did Brooks go metal?
Brooks.
No, I
disappeared.
tried. Not much came out.
My instincts took over. The second Brooks started the mailbag, I knew he needed help. I knew that this was a man down in the field, and I went in for the second half of it, but I could barely save him.
Yeah, that was like someone, at war is like, he needs help. Go in there. I'm on it. I don't have a gun. It's like, you're not going to be much help. That was Andy running to save
All right.
the friend.
All right. Question.
How does my voice gone?
I don't know.
If I had a voice, Mike, I wouldn't even be doing this show because I'd be on the voice. All right, mailbag time. If you want to submit a question to the show, you can go to our website, thefantasyfootballers.com, click the submit a question button or dial our voicemail hotline 302-464-TFFB, and we're going to kick it off in this mailbag segment with a voicemail question.
Hey guys, this is Chelsea from Detroit. I need huge games from pretty much everyone in my roster to have any chance of winning my first playoff game this week. So with that in mind, do you trust Dak this week against the Giants, or would you stream another quarterback when both Winston and Garoppolo are available to pick up? Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Ooh.
I've had a lot of questions about Dak this week.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
But
Makes
not
sense.
they were like Dak or Garoppolo questions.
Yeah, if Winston is in here, to me, I would play Winston over Dak. Dak is so dangerous. I'm making the call right now between Derek Carr and Dak. Dak has the better matchup. Neither have a bad matchup, but I've chosen to go with Derek Carr solely because what we saw last week out of Dak was a decent fantasy game, but it was not a good game on film. When you watched him play, he still had some of the same struggles he's had over the previous several weeks. In the last 7 games for Dak, this is unbelievable, which is basically since their bye, he only has 2 games throwing for more than 200 yards. I mean, that's just not high upside, and he's never really been the super high upside guy. Even last year, even the beginning of this year,
he was great and
just
consistent.
so consistent. He could throw 250 yards and 1 touchdown, rush a touchdown, and have a great fantasy day. If you want a big blow-up potential, to me, that would be Jameis Winston here. I think Jameis Winston's the type where, due to the 2 interceptions he'll throw, he might have to throw 4 touchdowns. Personally, if it was my team, that's the way I would lean. Any disagreements?
My only disagreement would be if you're playing the game of you feel like everyone on your roster has to go off. I'd play Garoppolo against the Texans.
That's amazing because I still lean Dak in this matchup.
Oh, we have helped you nothing.
Against the Giants.
We got to find a 3-way
with
water
the
bet
playoffs on the line. I would hope Dak could step up in that game, but
yeah, I think that all 3 of them are fine options. This is just
so you would start
it
in her situation.
If I feel like everyone has to explode or I lose, then I would play Garoppolo against the Texans. Yeah.
I think if I wanted the explosion, I'd go Winston for sure.
I would order in basically all situations here. I think I would order it Winston, Dak, Garoppolo.
I'm going to lose my mind after I read this question.
Okay. Wow.
Avery in Palo Alto, California. Commissioner just lost Gronk by suspension and changed the league settings to add an additional week to the season so in the playoffs he gets Gronk back. Is this how the game goes or tomfoolery?
What? Oh, that is so loud.
You'll have to edit that one in post, Mike. I forgot I had the volume up for the voicemails. I just got really scared.
What just happened? I'm not editing. I'm leaving that to terrify people.
There you go. Yeah, someone's crashing the car right now.
And it's appropriate for this question.
Yeah, it is.
You got to be kidding
That's
me.
full shenanigans. You need to
know what I would do
a
is
clip of our YouTube, timestamp to this question.
Ridiculous.
Don't
can't
tell them
do
that
stuff
alarm's
like that.
coming and then watch what happens.
Yeah, you can't do things like that. I mean, you have to have integrity as the commissioner. You can't. I mean, if the entire league voted unanimously to add another week to the playoffs, then whatever. I would still say awful because Week 17 playoffs are awful. However, this is completely unacceptable.
You can't be playing a sports game of whatever. We'll just say a football game, and then at the end, your time is run out, and you're losing. You go, oh no.
10 more minutes.
We're adding 10 more minutes onto this game because I feel like I got cheated.
Put it this way. Let's say Gronk did
Ridiculous.
Let's say Gronk did not get suspended at all and wasn't a factor. Doing what the commissioner did to just right this time of year in week 13, 14 to change the rules is unacceptable. Then you add back in, it's because of a specific player for them, as garbage.
All right, let's jump into another voicemail question.
Hey guys, this is Charles from South Florida. I have back-to-back Foot Clan titles, looking to make this repeat.
Nice.
Was wondering, I have Le'Veon Bell, Fournette, P. Ryan, and Morris in the Standard League, and I'm wondering if I'm crazy if I want to bench Fournette against Seattle. Let me know. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
What do you guys think?
I don't think he's crazy. I really
who
don't.
who would you leave out of that list though? Which
so Alpha's
between,
in, Lev Bell is in. Those two are in.
So I was going to say that the only
So
players
there's P. Ryan or Fournette.
you consider to drop for me would be not drop, but the bench would be P. Ryan or Alf. So of those two, clearly it's P. Ryan for you. You would bench him in favor of Fournette.
No, I was saying I might be willing.
Or you
to
might bench Fournette for P. Ryan.
P. Ryan is going up against Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers have a
Yeah.
great passing D and have a really bad rush defense. Last week in a terrible week for P. Ryan. I mean, I really think it was a very down week and half-point scoring. He had 9.6 fantasy points. He's the only guy in town. The last 3 weeks, 21 points, 17 points, almost 10 points this last week.
I would bench him.
And
I'd bench Fournette and I'd play P. Ryan.
you also
Wow.
have the injury concern with
Yes.
Fournette. You saw him leave the game a little bit last week.
You can't risk a first-quarter injury and then all of a sudden your playoffs are jacked up.
Yeah, I mean, a couple weeks ago against Cleveland, Leonard Fournette had 111 yards. Okay, other than that, it's week 6, the last time he's had even just 60 yards rushing. He is a big name, but
Right.
I think I would rather play P. Ryan, which is, I mean, look, that's scary to do.
Yeah, it is.
Because then Fournette goes off and you feel like a dummy. But I feel like a dummy every day. So this is just par for the course. It's called LIVIN.
It's a game of probability and playing matchups. So that's. I mean, I don't think it's crazy.
Well, what you said you would bench Fournette?
I'd play
here?
P. Ryan.
Yeah.
I also am mad at Mike.
Oh, did waivers just run or something?
Yeah, he got Steven Anderson in the Dynasty League.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you even put a waiver claim on him?
Of course I did.
What I put like $1 down, right?
No, you put nothing down. But
because you have.
I'm
Yes.
12-1.
Mister. I'm so good. I'm undefeated. Enjoy having no Steven Anderson on your team.
Yeah, that
You
sucks.
turd.
That sucks.
Oh, the good.
Got called a turd.
That's-
All right. Bonjour from Scotland.
Oh, bonjour.
Where does Alvin Kamara go in next year's fantasy drafts?
He's
All right.
rushing towards the top of the draft. No one can stop him.
He put hashtag pump the brakes, hashtag O'Reilly, hashtag auto parts SO. W?
That's auto parts. Ow.
Oh, yes, it is.
Are you
I'm
trying
gonna
to pump the brakes on Kamara?
Well, he's wondering, does this guy go number 1? Does he go number
No.
2?
I do think he ends up in the first round. If the next few weeks continue as they have been the last
He
few
should
weeks.
be in the first round.
Yeah, he'll be a
He'll
first
be
round.
he'll be a top 5
Yeah,
pick.
no doubt about it. I know Jason thought into the first last week.
No.
I think he's a top
He'll
5
be a
guy.
top 5 guy. Lev Bell is
David Johnson.
and Gurley will probably be.
Yes. And then 4. 4, I'd put Kamara.
Fourth running back.
It's very, very possible.
4 overall.
Over Antonio Brown.
You know how I draft
Julio.
running backs, Jason.
All right. I still see Kamara as definitely a first rounder, but probably back half because I think other wide receivers and the bigger, more proven long-term every down backs will go ahead of him.
Maybe.
Drew Brees' situation is not figured out there either, so that could affect you. a
Yeah,
little
it
bit.
could. But if everything, let's say everything remains the same, like Lev Bell does re-sign with the Steelers, because if Lev Bell goes somewhere else, that changes things dramatically as well. But the way I imagine it will be a decision at 103 of people going, oh, should I take Gurley or should I take Kamara? I think that's what people will be deciding between.
All right, Matthew in Miami. He has a drop a like it's hot question. Is Greg Olsen a good pickup if he was dropped today?
No.
No.
Can't trust it.
No.
I will say this. Did you see the report about Greg Olsen? Part of the reason that he missed this last game was because it was on turf, which has a tendency to re-aggravate his foot injury. The next 3 games are home games, so he had extra rest. That being said, if you're staying out of a game because turf might re-injure the foot, then grass might re-injure the foot too.
Right.
Zach in Seattle. Jamal Williams or Marvin Jones Jr. at the flex this week. I think we talked about Matthew Stafford earlier. I do think Jamal Williams will not get 21-to-1 carry ratio over Aaron Jones this week, but I would take him over Marvin Jones.
I would as well.
Yeah, I would as well.
Dylan Yates, Larry Fitzgerald or Golden Tate for the fantasy playoffs.
Full play. I mean,
I take Larry.
Yeah, it's Larry. They have multiple games at home, and the hand of Matthew Stafford is of great concern to me. So I would be going with Larry.
Yeah, you've got Larry at Tennessee at home, Larry against the New York Giants at home. Those are both great matchups.
All right. What about this defense question from Brad in Maine? Can I trust the Eagles' defense this week against the Rams, or is it worth picking up either the Titans or the Packers' defense? Now, the Packers play Cleveland.
Titans, no way.
No, not Titans on the road against Arizona. They're not a good enough defense. I would pick up the Packers and play them over the Eagles.
Wow.
I think I would just stick with the Eagles.
I'm going to stick with the Eagles as well. I have rolled with the Eagles and every now and then made a change to say, okay, I'm going to take the Eagles out, play someone else. They're such an opportunistic defense. If you look at what they've given up over the last 6 weeks, they're number 2 against the quarterback position. They're number 2 against the wide receiver position. They're number 2 against the running back position, and they're number 2 against the tight end position. They just have no weakness right now.
Deuce is wild.
Deuce is wild.
Here's what I'll say, though. You're not going to get, in my opinion, a week-changing score from the Eagles this week against the Rams. The Rams are the third most difficult team to play against for defenses. So, no defenses. 1 week. 1 week they've given up 0 touchdowns to the defense on the entire year. And so if you need major upside, I'd put that upside in picking off Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah, but with the return of Josh Gordon, who looked fantastic, the emergence of David Njoku against the Packers, I'm not willing to.
You don't even think the upside's there?
I don't.
Okay.
The turnovers, you're hoping that the defense scores, because I think that the Browns will be able to put up points.
Right. No, that's my point, though. The Rams have not had the defense score on them the entire year. That was what I was saying.
Okay, fair.
The Eagles, in fairness, the Eagles have only scored 3 touchdowns the entire season as a defense, and they're still the 4th best.
Strong, balanced, safe defense.
They're going to get some sacks.
Yes.
They're going to cause a turnover or 2. So
Patriots against Miami in Miami, or the Eagles in Los Angeles against the Rams?
Patriots.
Okay. All right. This is an interesting one. Brendan in Maine. Wow, people are just what do you call someone from Maine?
A maniac.
Yeah, high five.
We did it.
Brooks?
Maniac.
Yes.
You guys are something else. With playoffs here, is it acceptable to still pick up players from waivers if you missed the playoffs or got eliminated during the playoffs? I claimed Thielen in Week 16 last year while playing for 3rd place.
Good for
some
you.
of the league owners didn't like the move.
What? Get out of here.
You put
How
those
dare you play
shades
fantasy
on.
football?
Yeah.
You put those hate blockers
blockers,
on. Love Michael Keaton. And you say deal with it.
Tiger Dank.
Bunch of crybabies.
What streamers would you bench Russell Wilson for?
Wait, Tiger what? I'm finding
What streamers would you bench Russell Wilson for?
Oh, that's a good question because, look, Mike Wright and I disagree on Russell Wilson this week.
Yes.
Mike is in the camp that believes people are going to lose out on championships this week because of Russell Wilson.
I do.
Playing Jacksonville.
As do I.
On the road.
I agree with Mike.
The people are comparing, like, whoa, Wilson had success against the Eagles. They're a great defense.
They're not the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At home in a primetime game is far different than going across the country to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, so why don't we answer these separately then? Here's the quarterbacks I would play over Russell Wilson. I would play Carson Wentz. I would play Phillip Rivers. I would play Alex Smith.
Ooh,
Tom Brady.
Alex, you're already back for Alex Smith?
It's Oakland.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that Alex Smith.
I will play Alex Smith at Oakland over Russell Wilson at Jacksonville, and I would probably throw Drew Brees in there at Atlanta. That's it.
I want people to understand. Here's what Jacksonville's done at home against the quarterback. Here's the yards they've given up per game. 215, 64, 124, 136, 235, 174. And from what I can see, they've given up 2 touchdowns in a game one time at home. All the rest are 1 or 0.
Yeah, I have.
So unless Russell Wilson runs for about 150 and a touchdown.
The problem with Russell Wilson, why I feel like he's going to be a detriment to teams, is because, I mean, I'm with you that if Russell Wilson's on my team, I'm going to play him because he's Russell Wilson and he can make things happen. But
here's a question for you.
Because I go down, this is a start your studs thing, and I know there's a lot of people like, I'm going to play the matchups. I go down swinging with my best players because it's a game of probability, and I think the best players have the greatest chance of succeeding. So Russell Wilson is he is an impossible situation this weekend.
It really is. Saxonville is called Saxonville for a reason, and Russell Wilson gets sacked a lot because he has no offensive line. I get the narrative, and I could be wrong here. I just think Russell Wilson sits his bye in week 6. He hasn't even been as low as the quarterback 10 on a single week. He's 4-1-6-9-1-6-4. He's just been.
You guys want to water? Yes. You guys want to do a little group water bet? Pick a place for him to finish.
I'm saying Russell Wilson will be a quarterback 1. He will be this week a top 12.
Well, you said he hasn't finished outside the top 10, so let's do top 10.
Yeah, but he hasn't played Jacksonville.
So if he's outside the so you're thinking.
I'm saying top 12.
So you're not willing to do top 10. So there's 9 other quarterbacks you'd start over him.
I am saying that you play probabilities
You're
here.
taking body shots right now.
Listen, you play probabilities. To say that someone, there's 5 quarterbacks I would start over him, that doesn't mean I guarantee he finishes 6th. That means probability says he is the guy that I would say has the best chance of that. You would never rank a guy at number 9 and say, well, then he has no chance of finishing lower than that because I said he's 9th. So I say
how hard is
1.
it to sit a guy simply on the basis that if you lost and you should have played your stud, you're going to want to die.
That was the entire thesis of my argument, is that Russell Wilson is an impossible situation this weekend.
That was the Leonard Fournette situation earlier. It's Leonard Fournette or Pirine, because if Fournette goes off,
right,
you're going to feel.
I think Wilson probably finishes inside the top 12. I'm not willing to bury him all the way with the rushing yardage. I think the rushing yardage gets him inside the top 12. So
and generally I agree with that.
And he's playing otherworldly right now.
But
which I think is not a phrase.
Jacksonville just can create so much pressure and stay I can't think of the right word, but just stay committed to their sack lanes and their pressure lanes. That, man, good luck. If you're playing Russell Wilson this weekend, I will end the argument with that statement.
With good luck.
Good luck.
All right, here's a little reminder. If you want to represent the Foot Clan at the FSTA Awards, footclanvote.com. Cast a vote. Look, all the big fantasy people in this vote here, and we want to represent the Foot Clan right.
Yes.
We want to go up and give you an award, essentially. This one is literally who has the best fans.
Yeah, it is.
So,
who are the best fans?
Yeah. So that's
what the real question is.
For today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, support the show, and always, always play some draft with us at draft.com/ballers each and every week.
See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.